2, 3, all right.
Live.
Hetrick. Yeah.
Ready to go? All right. So I'd like to bring our next presenter to the floor, Ms. Dana Hetrick with Lucas Commercial Flooring.
So I feel like Eric made this really easy because ditto, but for commercial flooring. I'm Dana Hetrick with Lucas Flooring. So we are a commercial flooring provider. We work solely in the commercial industry. We don't do residential. So it's a little bit different, but really it's the same. It's kind of the same. Our location is downtown St. Joe, on 7th Street, a block away from 7th Street Bakery, which is really great for lunch, but not great for the diet. So we just have a small showroom and office space. Right now it's just me in there. But we're looking to grow. And okay. I'm like, I've never used a little clicker. So I will warn you, the slide deck was put together by marketing. So it's a little salesy, but I'm going to talk it through a little bit. So we say we're a Midwest, commercial flooring company. We really base our flooring projects on design, craftsmanship, and service. So quality and service are kind of our go-to items. So we have a signature process that we go through with each of our customers. Very similar. Starts with a site visit. We walk through, we try to see all the problems. Most of our projects are renovations. So we're dealing with existing surfaces that are currently covered by flooring. So we really try to see, what don't you see here? And really try to go through the design, the budget of the project. We typically are working with people that don't know anything about flooring. So we try to educate them on not just the pricing, but the value of the flooring. So we understand that you have a budget to work with. So maybe you can get A, B, and C based on different budgets. And, depending on how long you want the floor to last. What do you want it to do? Those kind of things. So we really talk through the whole project. We go through procurement of material, the project management, and then at 9 months after the project's completed, we follow up and make sure everything's working as it should be, make sure nothing is fixed. And then we also talk about maintenance, because maintenance in flooring is like the biggest factor in if it's going to be successful or not. So if they are like, oh my gosh, we can't figure out how to clean this, we'll come in and train them and tell them how to clean it. What kinds of flooring do we do? We do, okay, so we do carpet tile, we do LVT, LVP, everyone calls it something different. Sheet vinyl, so things like operating rooms, MRIs, CAT scan rooms, things like that. We have even gotten into indoor turf. So we've done some indoor golf clubs. And then just a variety of other things. VCT, everyone knows from your school days, that lovely VCT tile. Rubber, walk off at, entries. So anything interior when it comes to commercial flooring. Okay, so our history. So Lucas Commercial Flooring was started in 2008 by Robin Bowsam. She and I had previously worked together before that. She wanted to open a company that was customer-based versus, profit-based. So really focusing on the customer. So she had been my mentor since 2004 when I got into flooring, and we stayed in contact. 2008 was a great time to start a business in construction. But she had very loyal customers that she worked with. Many of those customers are still our customers today. So we have a lot of repeat customers. So in 2016, she was ready to retire. I just happened to go to lunch with her that day, and she was like, I'm just done. Like, I'm ready to retire. And so I called her that night. I was like, so why did you tell me that? And we worked out a napkin deal that I was going to buy her company. So we finalized it June 1st of 2016. And so in June, it'll be 10 years that I've owned the company. Feels like 1 year. It also feels like about 100 years. So at that time, everybody was subcontracted. All of our labor was subcontracted. There were no employees in the office. It was just Robin. So when I came on, she stayed on for a little while, but it was really just me. So in 2018, I hired my first employee, which was really exciting. An office employee that kind of helped me with paperwork, helped me with, sampling and ordering and all that good stuff. And then in 2019, we hired our main crew that we were subcontracting. We hired them in-house, which was wonderful. We could control their schedules. We can control the quality a little bit more. We could control the training of of future installers to make sure they were doing it our way and not somebody else's way. And then 2020 hit. And I'll show you a little bit more of this, but in 2020, March 1st, we had a full year. March 15th, we had nothing. We had no work. All of our contracts got canceled because all of the facilities were closed to the public. And so we were like, what do we do? So I had free time on my hands. So I became WBE certified because it's a lot of paperwork. I don't know if anybody else has gone through that process, but it's a lot of paperwork. So we're WBE certified now. And then in 2022, I hired my husband, Joe, and we were transitioning to a family operated business versus just me. My 13-year-old is also going to be working for us this summer in the warehouse. So he's real excited about that. And now in 2025, we're up to 15 total employees, install and office. So everybody always asks me why I got into flooring, and it's kind of part of the about us story. So I was an interior design major in college, got my design degree. I did an internship with this flooring company, and I loved flooring. I love the details. I can tell you some history and some details that you don't want to know. I can bore you to death. But whenever I graduated, I was like, okay, I'm going to go find a design job now. That's what you're supposed to do. I have my degree. And the owner of that flooring company was like, no, I want you to stay here. You're going to stay here. You're going to learn more about flooring. You're going to stay here and you're going to be successful in flooring. So what do you say to that when you're 22 and you have no idea where you're going to go find a job? So I stayed, and I love flooring. So I've stayed in it. I love educating people on how flooring works, how it's, what the right product is. I can tell you why it's manufactured in Northwest Georgia. I can get into the details. In fact, we've kind of started a video, not very good video, series on our socials that is me being a nerd about flooring, telling you, why flooring can be like a carrot or why it can be like a radish and stuff like that. So ask me if you want more details. So our customer, we have two different types of customer that we look at. So we usually work with multi-facility organizations that have a facility manager that's trying to do everything. So they want to work with somebody that makes their job easy. They're going to take care of the flooring and they don't have to worry about it. And then we also work with smaller businesses or business owners that they don't want to really have to think about the flooring. They want to focus on their business. They want to keep their business running while they're getting their new flooring done. So we're there to make their lives easier. So kind of what I just said, the things that they have in common. Okay, so the things that they have in common, they're relying on their vendor expertise. They want to maximize their value of what they're getting. They want to avoid unexpected costs. They want to reduce their own stress on the project, and they want the project done efficiently and timely. So I'm going to kind of skip over this. This is a couple of our fake customers that they're kind of yes, our avatars. Thank you. So kind of our numbers. So we have 2 locations, one in Independence, one in St. Joe. We have completed work in 15 states, which is why we say we're a Midwest flooring company. So kind of like what I talked about, so in 2020, we were completely sold. To start the year in March 15th, we had nothing. I had to go out and find stuff. So that year we started tracking how many jobs do we do in a year. So in 2020, we completed 71 projects, which is about 30% of what we did in 2019. So since then, that was kind of a blessing for us because it made us diversify a little bit and go out and find new customers. So we have grown. So between 21 and 25, we've completed just under 1,100 projects. And so far so it's about 220 projects a year. So far in 2026, we've completed 100 projects as of the end of April. So, and we currently are in the process of like 22 different projects right now. Our biggest single project was $558,000 contract, which for flooring, that's a lot of flooring. And then our minimum charge is $250. So we also do just like minor repairs as well. So how you can help us. One, I'm going to ditto the like hiring thing right now. I didn't want to focus on that because everybody talks about that right now. We are looking for journeymen, floor layers, people with flooring experience. We currently have 4 apprentices. A couple of them are getting ready to level up to journeymen, but we are looking for experienced floor layers. But we are also launching what we're calling Love Lucas. So Love Lucas is, starting this year, we are going to provide a flooring replacement for a not-for-profit organization for a room of their choice. So it can be used for whatever will improve their organization. So it could be like a daycare classroom. It could be a teacher's lounge. It could be, staff break room, anything that's going to give their space a little boost, a little pick-me-up. So we're going to be launching this summer. We really need organizations to apply. So there'll be some qualifications. You have to be a 501c3. You can't have asbestos because we can't abate it. Things like that. But we really need organizations to apply. So if you can follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram, we'll be announcing everything there. And just, let organizations that know about it so that they can apply. And then we're also going to be having a little networking. I love networking. I love connecting with people. I love meeting new people. So kind of a soft opening for our office space. We're going to have a little networking event in June. So if you'd like to join us, again, we're going to post it to Facebook, LinkedIn. Feel free to join us. So that was a very quick version of Lucas Flooring. Any questions? Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned 2 locations. Do you handle both of them, or is someone else handling the Kansas City location?
So right now I handle both. But I mentioned my husband came on in 2022. We also have a scheduling manager that came full-time 2022. So they're really handling that location more than what I am. I am transitioning more into the face of the company. So I'm handling more of the networking, the customer side, and they're kind of handling more of the internal processes. Yeah.
And so you said like before, I think it was like 2020,
Mm-hmm.
like all of your projects just came to a full. Like when you went out and started to find new business, how did you kind of structure that? Kind of a 2-part question. And then looking forward, because everything is going online, and there's hardly any brick and mortar businesses as much anymore. A lot of big companies closing down. Like, how do you forecast like those things that you're going to do to kind of bulletproof your business?
Sure. So the instance in 2020 was, unpredictable, right? Like we had no idea this was going to happen. And through a lot of crying and a lot of stress, I literally just started picking up the phone, and I started with my existing customers because they're our best advocates, right, as business owners. So I called my existing customers and I said, look, I understand your projects are on hold. Do you have any partners that you foresee doing flooring projects? And so they gave me a few names. They gave some referrals out, and I started making phone calls from there. We are very referral based. Most of our projects come from referrals. So we rely heavily on that. And we're really trying to build that even more now with online testimonials and reviews and things like that. So that's kind of how we're using that to move forward, is to really build how can other people see those referrals versus just a direct conversation with somebody else. Does that answer your question? Okay. Any other questions? Oh, yeah.
So what advice would you give somebody that's not like, I can't think of any other phrase, but a salesperson, like getting their business out there, but not as confident in like picking up the phone and being like right there in people's face?
I understand, because I always say I am a terrible salesperson. Like whenever I walked in and I saw these brochures, it's like, oh, that was smart. I should have brought something so you know who I am and you can take it with you. And this is something I always tell my son too, like eat the frog. Have you ever heard of eat the frog? Okay, so if you have to eat a frog, right? You have to do it. Your life depends on you eating this frog. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. The more you think about it, the harder it is to do. So just wake up and eat the frog. Like just get up and do it. The more you do it, the easier it gets. So that's always what I tell myself, what I tell my son, because he's exactly like me, and going into teenage years is not fun. But really just do it. Like just take that first step and do it, and then just keep doing it. And it gets easier as you go. Even this morning, I'm like, oh, I gotta get up and talk in front of people. I don't want to go. Maybe I'll get a flat tire on the way and I won't have to do this. Once you get going, like once I started talking, I've gotten more comfortable. So just do it. Maybe not the best advice, but as somebody that says I always tell myself I'm probably the worst salesperson, because I don't want to sell people. I want to educate people, and I want them to decide if we're a good fit for them. I never want to sell somebody, because most of the time if I sell them, they're not happy at the end of the day because I've sold them on something they don't want. So,
but that's the most effective sales process there is figuring out what somebody needs, and if you're not the right person to deliver it, you don't let them hire you.
Yes, and finding that right fit is key, because there are times where I say, like, that's not something we do. And the few times that I've done it anyway, even though I knew before, it turned out horribly. It was a terrible experience for everyone, including myself. So yeah, knowing that good fit and being able to walk away if it's not.
And it's not a salesperson, but it's a consultant. Because when you're talking, if you're not selling them something they don't need, I saw your notes, and it's like we have a conversation. We sit down. What do they need? What do they want? What are their budgets? And that's a consultant versus the salesperson. And that's what puts you ahead of everybody else, I think. So.
Yeah. Well, and it's that you kind of touched on it when you said that, if they're calling 4 different people on Google because they saw your name, they just Googled it and then found you. That's not usually a good fit for us, because we're not going to be that, just low budget. Here's your number. It's going to be a whole conversation. By the time usually that conversation's over, they know we're not a good fit for them either. So, yes, sorry.
I was just going to add that in any, I teach kind of some of those skills, and just lean into what sells is your passion for flooring and your expertise at flooring, and that attracts, people need it, they want it to improve their businesses and their lives. And you have what could make all the difference for your business. This could make every day better. And I'm going to tell you that my understanding and knowledge of flooring is going to make your life better. And so that sells, like, lose the worry and focus on what you believe in. And then I'm attracted to what you believe in. Like, I think I do.
Well, and kind of going to the employee part, one of the things that I like to find out from installers that we're looking to hire is, why are you doing flooring? Like, why do you think flooring is important? And the ones that are like, oh, it's just, that's how I make money. And like, okay, but when you put in a floor, how important do you think that flooring is to the customer? And, I've gotten answers like, oh, well, they're just going to walk on it. It's not a big deal. That's not a good fit for us. Like, I think that flooring changes that person's life. If it's a bad floor, they're going to know it. They're going to be uncomfortable. They're not going to, it's not going to perform the way they want. It's going to make a difference in their lives. Is it going to, change their world? No, but it is going to make their life easier if it's a good flooring and it's performing the way it should be. So really believing in the product.
And showing how it can be dangerous. You know, you're dealing with the public, and you really do need safe, reliable, good quality flooring. You know, there is a practical level to it. So
yes.
I think really pour into your belief in, and then it just communicates. It just kind of, that's what radiates to people, and people kind of forget. And if they're not interested, you just move on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it doesn't connect, you move on quickly.
Yeah.
Well,
And
it's not about you. Like if they say no, you're going to get told no 90 times out of 100, right? But it's not personal. It's just maybe not the right time. Maybe they don't understand. Maybe your offering just isn't a good fit for them. But you have to just, look, I've sold copy machines for 25 years. There's nothing exciting about copy machines. Go home and say, like, save somebody's life today. Even though when the copier is out of toner, it's like,
it's a big deal. Yeah, it's a big deal.
they buy from you because they know that they can buy a copier online or whatever, but if the copier breaks, Matt is the man. Like, I'm going to save the day. And so,
That's it.
To widgets, to the remodeling, like, they know that if there's a problem, those guys are going to take care of it. She's going to take care of it. You're going to take care of it.
Yeah.
And that's more important than the individual product. So, people still buy from people.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I've had experiences where there's a problem after the fact and they're calling another company because that's who they went with, and they don't answer the phone.
They're not a business.
Right. They're not, or they just don't answer the phone, because if I don't answer the phone, you're eventually going to give up and you're going to call somebody else to come fix the problem that they caused. And so when I see, again, answering that phone is so crucial to it. Just picking up the phone, and if I don't know the answer, I'm going to find the answer. Yeah.
I can fix this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I see Kansas City's in here, so you probably have a strong presence in Kansas City or clientele. How about here in St. Joseph? Do you have as much business as you want here in St. Joe? Do you want more of the commercial business? Tell us about that.
Yes. So it started in Kansas City. Lucas Flooring started in North Kansas City. We moved to Independence in 23. The majority of our projects are actually outside of Kansas City. So we travel a lot for projects, for people that are wanting, that control over the quality of the product. So we're doing a lot of traveling. So when I say we've done work in 15 states, that's not over 10 years. We're like consistently doing that work. So we are trying to grow our presence in both markets, in Kansas City and St. Joe. Kind of our in-town work is like a 70-mile radius of our locations. So we're trying to build that in both areas. It's not really in one specific vertical either. Again, it's more based on that customer profile versus specific markets, but definitely commercial. I don't know anything about residential at all. I'll admit that. I hired somebody else to do my home flooring. We don't do stretching. But yeah, so it's 100% commercial. So yes, we have done work in St. Joe. We have a couple of customers that have locations here that we have done. So that's part of the reason we were coming here. The other part, no, I'm going to get like personal. So another reason that we have moved to St. Joe is, I live in Gower. So we come to St. Joe for everything on the weekends. We come here for restaurants. We shop here. Last summer, it's like, why am I driving every day to Independence whenever we're here as well? So it made sense to me to try to become even more part of the community here, because I really want to support the communities I'm in. We're entrepreneurs as families. So we live in Gower. We have a couple of businesses in Gower as well. So we just, since we come here anyway, we want to become part of the community. So that's really what it's about for me is, I see potential in St. Joe. Like I think St. Joe is growing. I feel like it is improving. I've seen like a lot of interest in St. Joe, from people that live in it and are looking to improve it. And I want to be part of that. So that's really what drove me to open a location here. So, yeah.
I'm probably the only girl that didn't know this, but you were talking about during COVID, you did WBE.
Yes.
What
So it's Women Business Enterprise. So it's a government, certification. So we did it with the state of Missouri, the state of Kansas, and the city of Kansas City. But yeah, it's a ton of paperwork. But it gives you an advantage for government projects and
Say that sentence again.
yeah, so it gives you an advantage for government projects. There's also corporate entities that have their own internal goals. So you'll see minority owned, veteran owned, and women owned usually are kind of the goals that we see.
So if you go for government contracts, it can be at
And you feel like she should rebrand? Like Ixnay to KC? Because I live in Kansas City.
Oh,
So I kind of was like, but people from St. Joe buy from St. Joe.
right.
And so I kind of had like two separate businesses. If I'm calling on KC people, I would use the KC. If I call on the St. Joe folks, I would use my St. Joe location. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, it was just too much. And so, yeah, I would dive in, and because you do a lot of stuff everywhere. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and we're going through a website update as well. So we are doing a few things there that are going to do some of that. So I don't know if we'd be able to take the KC out of the Lucas Flooring
You'd have to
part.
start over.
Yeah.
It has multiple ones that go to one website. So you don't do away with it. You do an additional one that sends you to the site.
Yeah.
There's that,
So first of all, congratulations. In 10 years, you've made outstanding progress.
Thank you.
I'm assuming you're not union. Is that right?
We are,
Okay,
but
okay.
yes, we are.
They answered my question about travel and all of that stuff, so I was wondering how you were able to.
So
go
it
to
is
different states.
It is our in-house crew that does it though. So yes, so our guys do travel. We pay them, drive time, pay for their hotels, pay them per diem. Yeah, so they're the ones that are doing it. So we're still controlling that quality out of town.
So how do you think that hiring in-house employees? Well, I guess it's different than unions, so I'll skip that. But the renovation is what you said you mostly deal with.
Yeah,
Do you not do new construction, or you just prefer not to?
so we do new construction with our existing customers. So most of our work is not through general contractors. It's directly with the businesses. And we just aren't effective at bidding off of plans because I see the holes in the specs and I don't know how to bid it to plan on trying to get that money later. So that's why we've kind of stayed out of it. So we do, we have existing customers that are, they're building a new building and they want us to do the flooring. And so we will do that and we'll work with the general contractors and, we've actually gotten some general contracting customers that way, where after they've worked with us, they're like, oh, we want to use you again. But we really shine in those renovations because we know how to work with the customers. We know how to keep their businesses operating while we're getting the work done.
Yeah, I'm sure it's easier to sell to the end user as opposed to a GC that's looking at bids alone.
It's different because I have a friend that she does nothing but new construction. She doesn't understand the renovation world at all. She's like, I don't know how you deal with customers. Like, that'd be so hard. How do you educate them on, how do you get them to spend money on the floor prep? How do you get them to do it? And it's like, it's just a different way of communicating. So, yeah. Sorry.
will you guys be here afterwards?
Yeah.
Questions? Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you guys for your time.